Blackburn
Enterprises.
Okay, so my question is, with them back then being so aggressive towards each other and being more compact or combative towards each other, why would they not be? Why do you think they're not more fit or more muscular? Where now the rules are catered to not non-contact, and they're stronger and they're bigger. So why do you think it's like that?
Man, man. You know, from that ilk and that era, man, you had to have that dog in you. You know what I mean? Like you either like 6'2" going against a man that's 6'8", 6'9", or like, but you're looking at him like you're like, man, this dude is like he's 212 pounds soaking wet. He's probably like 205, but his man that he's going against is 235. Man, that 30 pounds is still a big difference.
It is.
But it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Man, I want it. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm that dog come out, that hunger, and like, you know, man, every single person up here has played sports. So everybody has had that will to win, that drive, that dog, that hunger. And I feel like in that ilk, in that era, everybody was fueled off that. You know what I mean? They wanted to win. So it's like, you know, it's a little bit different with nowadays game. Nowadays it's kind of a little bit more strategic than it is like, man, I'm just going to come through and I'm just going to dominate. Because, you know, we look at some of these things and it's like Jordan was kind of having his way with people. And we're like, where's the defense on this? Did he outthink them? Did he just move faster than them? Was he already in the air when they were thinking about the ball being passed in? You know, so it's just one of those things where it's just like two different ilks, two different eras, two different coaching styles, playing styles, and honestly, two different builds when it actually comes to the players.
Right. Any difference? What you think, Mo?
Like he touched on it earlier, like just the nutrition plans.
Yeah.
You have a couple of weight trainers from all the way from high school to college to even the pros. You have someone there with you every day. You're lifting. You're eating a certain type of way. Even your parents at home. I know myself. My mother would cook certain spaghetti, certain meals on the days before the games, just so I would come through smoother. I wouldn't be cramping. She'll provide me with Gatorades, bananas. Little stuff like that, but it takes it to the next level where you can play those 82 games and not be sore, and you're still at the top of your game as well as lifting.
Right.
If I can piggyback on that, specifically, I say this because watching basketball, the Miami Heat, the Miami Heat have a actual nutritionist. They have weights that you're supposed to abide by. You have a weight limit that you have to be based on your height. So you have to make these cuts in order to play. You look at people like James Johnson, Dion Waiters. Everybody knows the mistake that he made on the plane with the edibles, but Dion Waiters was morbidly obese, especially to be an NBA player. And it happened.
I don't know if it's quite morbidly obese, but I see.
Well, it's morbidly obese for what their predecessor was. You look at them and they're like, okay, if you're 6'1", you got to be 170. He's 215. It's a problem. And you knew that this was the guideline that you had to abide by, but look at that. How many teams were doing that back in the day?
No, they wasn't. But this is one thing that I was going to say, and I think this is what a major difference is between the 80s and between now. I think the commercialism is what is the main thing that pushes things to be the way they is.
Oh, definitely.
If you look at how it was back then, basketball was it was growing. It was a growing sport, you know what I'm saying? But how it's looked and how it's marketed back then compared to now is totally different, which is why I feel like they are more focused on not allowing them to quote unquote do the bad boys piston defense and knock players out and let them be out 2-3 games, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all about that money. If you look at football and you look at basketball, what people generally say is, oh, these boys couldn't play, these boys couldn't play. What you fail to realize is people were greedy back then, but on today's time, they are even more greedier than they were back then. And now this all of this is about the money, especially not to change subject, but if you look at football, and that's why every rule that changed, it caters to the offense. Because guess what? Offense caters to points being scored. Points being scored caters to more people looking at ESPN
Views.
and looking at more views and
Views,
seeing
yeah.
touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So and it's the same thing in basketball. You know what I'm saying? Less contact means more points. It means more people dunking.
Man.
Which means more highlights. Which means more money being put in people's pockets.
Not to venture off, but look at the amount of points that were being scored per game then, and look at how it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
You are absolutely on the ball with that, man.
Right.
You can look at
Like
football.
109.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I mean. But we were watching games. One of them games were well, they said the Bulls went through an era when they weren't scoring 80
Yeah,
points.
it was like 84 90.
80, yeah. I mean, man, that's defense that's being played and lockdown and using both. You know, I'm not just good on offense, but I'm good on defense too.
Right.
And it's all about kind of what you allow to occur. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
How many teams were scoring 77 points back in the gap in football? I don't ever recall it. I mean,
Yeah, 5-6 touchdowns. One play.
yeah. I mean, you know, but hey,
Right.
I could be wrong.
Right.
I doubt it, but I could be wrong.
All right, and just like we touched on in episode 1, that's how it continues to jump. This episode does the same thing, and it jumps from talking about Dennis Rodman to going to that Bulls Cavaliers game in '89 where they're playing each other. What do y'all think
Was
about?
that Doug Collins coach?
Yes, it was Doug Collins' coaching. What do y'all think about that game and the iconic shot that MJ made?
First of all, that's like one of his iconic shots. Like, you know, that
that's top 2. I think that's top 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of his
You got
iconic
my man.
shots.
He's hype.
You know, you got the wraparound and then the game winner, and just the fact that watching it again, you know, as an adult, just to see his watching his eyes. One, as a coach, you watch your eyes. So now I'm learning that, and you see where he's already focused. Before the ball gets on him, he knows what the goal is. He knows where he's about to go, and then no one is a factor. And you see that from behind. No one's a factor in that shot. If he has to move it from here to here, he's going to take that shot. Regardless, he knew from jump, he was like, trying, he's going to make it.
Right.
That's MJ's great streak.
Yeah, what you think? What you think?
Dog, puppy. I mean, that's how Jordan made his mark, man. I mean, he was a clutch player.
Clutch.
And then you've got to look at, I mean, he told them before the game, he said, we got you sold up. We got you good.
Yeah,
and tonight, we're going with you.
It was going on the reporters, and the reporters, they were all betting against Chicago.
Yeah.
And they all had, they had all made different predictions as to when they was going to go out. So some of them was thinking that Cavaliers was going to win in 3, and some thought the Cavaliers was going to win in 4, and then some thought they was in 5. So he pretty much was talking like we beat you, and we're gonna make you look wrong tonight.
I mean, the last dance, I tipped my hat to him because, man, it was so good.
Right.
I actually forgot the results because remember when he hit the shot, I was like, dang, well, Jordan didn't come through with this one.
Right.
And then he came back and, man, he hit that shot and it's like,
Right.
MJ.
Right.
You know, this is just a brief reminder of who he is and what he did and, yes, the mentality that he had, that he provided. And, I mean, he's just one of the people like, look, you might be good, but we're going to be great.
Right.
And it's...
I feel like that shot and just that series proved his dominance. Like, he's not going to take nothing other than a win. He had 2 players on him if you watch it in that last shot.
He did.
He had the inbound man and his man on him.
Right.
Split them and then just drove to the free throw line and shoots it.
Right.
That alone is just pure. I'm gonna take it. I'm the man. I'm gonna get it done regardless of who's in front of me. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And that's just great, man. I love Michael.
Right. So that was an iconic shot. However, after that iconic shot, they met up with the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Pistons, as we were talking about earlier, they pretty much, their defense was to beat you the F up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, and I listen to different people that talk about sports or whatever, and I think something that comes up, their mentality was, or the Michael Jordan rule was, you know what I'm saying, before he jumped, make sure you beat him the F up. What do you think about the ability of being a small player and being able to have weight when it comes to sports?
Oh, I think it's definitely an advantage. Like, to have the muscle and you can impact a lot more. So when you don't have that muscle and you're getting beat up like Michael did in '89 when he met the Pistons, he wasn't able to endure that. And now mentally he just pushed himself, but his body wise, like the endurance of that was definitely a lot more than if he was strong and he had the muscles to absorb that impact.
Right.
So
what do you think about that? Having to wait.
They beat the brakes off him. I mean, man, they beat the brakes off him. But man, he literally just had that determination and that grit, that grind. I mean, people talk about Memphis and man, grit and grind, but I mean, Jordan. There we go. But man, you know, you had Jordan, man, and he, you know, the thing about Jordan is Jordan was holding his own.
yeah.
It's the team around that had to like
Man up.
yeah, because he as great as Jordan was, he never did it alone.
Right.
And so Jordan, could he score? Cool, he was great. Was he getting the brakes beat off him by the Pistons?
Yes, he was.
Bop, bop, bop. I mean, like literally, you know. So you know, Jordan was he had the mentality like, okay, look, I'm gonna leave it all on the court.
Right.
I'm gonna give it everything that I got. But those Pistons, it was like, okay, yeah, but you're going to have to get off the court.
Right.
Like,
what do you think about that physicality when it comes to sports?
I feel like, personally, it was just straight dominance. Like, I don't understand why they want to beat somebody up that bad, but that's the only way you can stop the guys. Like,
He's necessary.
Malcolm X.
So I just feel like it was just real bad. But it taught them you have to put in some more work, really.
Right.
I mean, you're there.
Right.
But that weight is what you're missing. To endure, take them hits, and get up and hit that next shot, though, if they hit you again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he was getting the shots off. You watched the replays.
He was.
He's getting hit. His arm's still getting it up. He just couldn't get it in the basket quite yet.
True.
Right.
So that little extra,
Or he hit you with the.
And so when you said Michael getting shots off, yeah, I understand that. But do you think that he trusted and felt like he had any supporting players to help him build?
See.
But at the same time, though, even if he felt like he didn't, all the plays were portraying to him.
But that's the difference between Doug Collins and Phil Jackson.
Right.
Phil Jackson actually said that he implemented the triangle offense for Michael to show him, like, hey, it's more than just you that's actually on the team, man. And so, like, we've got Scotty. We've got Tony Kukoc. You know what I mean? We've got Steve Kerr. We've got players here that's beyond just you. And, man, if you know you Michael and you know you the man, the double team's coming. You know what I mean?
Right.
Trust in the other people around you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, another interesting thing that it showed during this episode is at some point, Dennis started spiraling out of control, and at a certain point, he was stuck in a car and he had a gun, and the media was going crazy about him having a gun. What do you think about the fact that he had a gun in the car, but they never even really delved into what he was thinking or what was going on with him?
I don't really have an opinion on that particular part. I feel that Dennis was going through a lot, you know, and I feel like he's very private. And
I can say that.
Instead of talking to someone and just letting someone know like where he is and to get the help, I think he stayed private to everything.
Right. What do you think?
Dennis was Dennis, man. I mean, you know, it's even based on the documentary.
Right.
It's no telling how many gems that Dennis had in his mind that he just didn't tell us. So I mean, I feel like Dennis just probably had a gun, man, for protection.
Right.
You know, so.
Right.
What do you think?
That I really like. He was asleep. He wasn't like. Was it on the lap? Was it on the seat? Like.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
They just
Right.
they trying to paint that picture, but never gave
He
the
said
dude
he
the
had the
opportunity.
gun.
Right. He did have the gun, but they gun. That's the thing, and that's what's missing from it. He had the gun. He was in the car. We never get hit. What was his mental state? What was he thinking? Why did he have the gun, or whatever? So I feel like they dropped the ball on that.
But that's why I think he's very private, because even when he talked about it,
He didn't
go.
Right,
He said
right.
he was in a different state of mind at that time,
Right.
and left it at that.
Right. And speaking of state of mind, he was definitely in a different state of mind when he started messing with Madonna. Started messing with Madonna, and Madonna gave him this whole idea of basically
Be who you want to be.
who you want to be. So what do you think about the fact that once he started messing with Madonna, this whole new moniker or character somewhat came out?
I mean, I'm all for a person being who they want to be, right? But when you get to extreme who you want to be, like, is that really you, or are you hiding something behind all of that glam and all those glitz and glams in front of you? So
Good point.
She just made him more of who he was. she really much just took the curtain, just snatched it right
So
off.
you're saying that whole time, that was who he was?
You could see him building up to be who he was, and I mean, icing on the cake.
Right. What do you think, Mo?
I feel like he just. She said be who you want to be, but I feel like she just thought he didn't know who he was. He was lost all his life. He felt lost.
All right.
And just.
but do you think he really wanted to be found, though?
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Next,
It got worse.
right. Every step of the way.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to be found
No.
at all. But and pretty much this episode ended again. You know, like we said, it jumps around and jumps around. We got to the point where it ended on Pippen, and he actually, he was kind of sitting out because he wanted to be traded, and he comes to the decision that he's not going to sit out anymore. What do you think, real quick, about Pippen coming to the realization that he can't play hardball with the organization?
I mean, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the lawyers, they have all that other stuff, they have extra money. Like, you're receiving a check from them. So at the end of the day, you really can't beat them. And I think he probably thought about his family in the end. And that probably what pushed him over the edge to just say, forget it, I'm done.
$2 million, nothing.
$2 million.
I think I'm gonna go on and play.
I'm gonna go with the
I
$2
think I'm
million.
gonna go on and play because you're not gonna win that battle, man.
Right.
Especially not long term.
Right. What do you think, Mo?
Like she said, I'm touch on. He was an employer at the end of the day. Like
Bingo.
they gave you an opportunity, no matter if it was $2 million
right.
or whatever. You signed that, and you said you're obligated to do that. So
Yeah.
I think it came to realization. Just man, I got something good going as well. Why would I just mess it up for my money at the end of the day?
All right.
Real spill.
All right.
Came back.
So that's pretty much how episode 3 ends, okay? And we'll holler at you. Peace.
Bye.